Yeah, you really know your cars. It's actually a Lamborghini Mustang.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. Something slightly different today. I'm not out cruising for reactions or funny comments or spit in my Lamborghini Mustang, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to give you guys a bit more perspective as to why I actually started making these videos and to share some of the stories behind the reactions I've received based on the videos that you've seen. So let me just start off with a bit of history. I never really anticipated the type of reactions I would get owning a car like this. The first car I ever had registered to my name. Reason I say to my name was I had a Toyota Celica I bought from eBay, 1990 with pop-up headlights, which was an incredible car, but I only had that for 4 days, and I couldn't afford the insurance, so I sold it. Anyways, I digress. So the first real exotic car I got was an Aston Martin Vantage, 6-speed manual transmission. I love that car. And so I got that, and then my parents were coming to visit. They lived in the Middle East, so they were coming to visit, and they were staying in a hotel in Yorkville. And I was kind of excited, you know, show off my car a little bit, and you know, just to tell you a bit about my parents, they have absolutely no appreciation and no knowledge whatsoever about cars. Let me give you an example. If I park my Lamborghini Mustang next to a Hummer, my dad will not be able to tell the difference. You won't believe how many times I've messed with him in a parking lot, going next to a red car, a purple car, a pink car, and he would not know which one is his unless I actually pointed out, this is our car, get in. He will get into whatever car he thinks looks like a car. So that's my parents for you. My dad drives I think like a Honda or a Toyota Camry, something like that. I don't see him too much, but my point is they have zero interest in cars whatsoever. So I see my parents, and then I come down, and my car was parked in the hotel, and I see a bunch of guys with really, really big cameras, like, you know, crowded around my car, and you know, like, everyone was being very respectful. They were keeping their distance, they were taking a picture, and I thought nothing of it. I thought, you know what, maybe they're just like tourists that kind of like cars and wanted to take a cool shot. So a few weeks after, I was like scrolling through, I think it was like an Instagram or Facebook or something, like, I don't know what it was. I wasn't really in social media, and I didn't know anything of it. But anyways, I was flicking through some pictures, and I saw a gorgeous gunmetal Aston coming out of this really, really bad alleyway. And then I think, wait a minute, you know, that looks really familiar. And then I realized that was actually me. I thought to myself, who's this idiot driving like such a gorgeous car in such like horrible roads? And I didn't know it was me at the time. But then I contacted the guy who took that picture, Chris, and you know, he wanted to build out his portfolio, so we scheduled a few photo shoots. And then I really got more cognizant of like what this car spotting community is about, and the car culture in Canada. Most of my reactions with the Aston were positive. It's a very understated, very refined car, so you don't really have people like shouting at you, spitting at you, or it blends in fairly well. And I think you really have to know and appreciate cars to understand what an Aston is about. You know, it's not a matter of like showing off, it's just, you know, a refined taste. That's how I describe that car. So I had that for about I think 10 months before I switched to a Ferrari. You know, I didn't want to go with a red Ferrari because I thought it was a bit of a cliche, and honestly, I'm not that much of an attention whore, despite what some of you guys may think. So I went with a more understated Grigio Titanio color, which is silver in English, and I wasn't expecting so many reactions. And I started just you know, the real reason behind why I have a camera here is, one, I wanted to use this as an opportunity to enjoy the car a bit more. Like, I didn't drive the Aston as much as I should have. Like I was dating this girl who lived in Vaughan, and rather than actually driving to see her in summer, I'll take the bus. It's like a 40-minute drive or a 2-hour bus ride. And like idiot that I was, I would actually take the bus to go see her. And I'm not just talking about one bus. It was a bus and it was a train and 2 buses just to see her. Plus like a 20-minute walk. So it'd take me like 2 hours just to get there. So the reason behind, you know, starting this this channel was really to experience and enjoy the car a bit more, and, you know, share that experience with some of you guys. And, you know, if you get a laugh out of it, even better, right? So the very first video I posted was, you know, a guy on a bicycle who said "Sweet Mustang." That got quite a few views. I think it was like 14,000 or something fairly quickly. And I'm like, you know what? People are getting a good laugh out of this. You know, I may as well share some of the experiences that I have with others. And so I started recording. Like, I didn't get that much good footage. It took a bit of, what the hell, this road is bumpy as hell. I don't know if you can hear that, but, you know, it took some time to actually get a good collection going of, like, funny things people say. Like, I wasn't too disciplined when with recording. You know, I'd occasionally used to say, okay, you know what, let me just turn on the camera. Now I have the camera rolling 24/7. It's actually acting as my dash cam. So, you know, there are a lot of times where I'll capture, like, bad drivers. I'll probably just make a compilation of, like, bad drivers, which there are a lot of in Toronto. So like, over time I started building, and then I started realizing, like, you know, like, some of the reactions are pretty funny, and I thought, you know what, I may as well have fun with it. You know, a lot of times people were like, nice Lamborghini, or, you know, and then in my head, like, you know, it's happened quite a bit, so I kind of had, like, a response. And then, you know, I just, in that last video, Lamborghini Mustang, I just, you know, just came out naturally, and I just thought I'd have fun with her. Like, wasn't disrespecting or being rude or trying to be a douchebag, but, you know, when you hear these comments a lot, you kind of want to have fun with it. So that's, like, all on the positive side, right? As you know, from the last video I posted, there are a lot of people who actually hate you for having a car like this. That was not the first time I got spat on, and yes, that was a real video. The very first time someone actually spat on my car was, I went out for dinner with my girlfriend, at the time, and I come out and I look at the passenger side mirror, and it's drenched in spit. Like, I mean, this guy was just, I don't know how many times he must have spat on the car, but that side was covered in spit, and I could see, like, remnants of, like, bread. Anyways, and she turned to me and she was like, "Did it rain?" I'm like, "No, that's spit, woman," because you could see, like, those little, like, balls of air and whatever. So no big deal. Like, I was kind of like, I felt offended, like, someone would actually go to that extent to, you know, try and prove a point. I don't know what point they were trying to prove, but so I just, you know, I keep microfiber in my car because I'm kind of anal when it comes to paint. So, you know, I just wiped it down, forgot about it, drove off. But more recently, on a sadder note, I was driving home. I think this was on Canada Day, so 1st of July. I was driving home after dinner, and I was on Yonge and College, which is a pretty busy street in Toronto. Like, a lot of tourists, a lot of weirdos, and what have you. But it's kind of like the route I take to go home. So, the light turns red, I hear glass shattering, and then someone shouts out, "Dude, that guy just threw a bottle at your car." And then I look over, I'm like, did it actually hit me? Like, who was the guy? And he points at some guy with, like, a garbage container, and he's, like, pushing it down the street. And 2 seconds later, the light turns green, a guy jumps in front of my car, wearing just a Santa hat and no shirt, and starts doing push-ups. He is a character of Toronto. His name is Toronto Xanta with a Z. I won't get into who he is right now, but he does have a mental disorder. I think it's schizophrenia or something. But anyway, so he's doing push-ups in front of me. Light turns green. You know, people are honking behind me, and I'm kind of in panic mode because damaging paint on your car, like, oh my goodness, do you really want to go through that? But, you know, so I pulled over, like, immediately after. I couldn't really see the guy who did it, nor would he, like, obviously stop and take responsibility. What am I going to do, sue a guy with, like, you know, trash? Like, what am I going to get? Anyways, so I knew I had no recourse. So essentially what I did was I just, you know, looked through the car with a flashlight, like, top to bottom. I think that night I did it about 8 times to look for damage. Fortunately, I could not see a thing. Like, either someone was just trying to prank me, haha, you got me, or he just threw a bottle and missed. Like, whatever, I'm just glad that there was no damage to the car, because that would not have been a good experience. Like, oh, I can't even imagine if there was some contact. I'm so anal when it comes to paint quality and just like keeping the things I own in good condition. I'm just very particular about things like that. So that really, I think, kind of changed the way I felt and how I about driving a car like this. I've always been very reserved on who I actually, you know, shared this experience with. Like, the car spotter community knows me because, like, I'm a car spotter myself. You know, I like to give people the opportunity to ride along and things like that. So, you know, I think owning a supercar, or like, maybe not a supercar for today's standard, but owning a car like this is, you know, as much as you love to drive it and enjoy it, I think it also makes sense to just share this experience with others. I think that's part of owning a car like this, right? You want to put a smile on other people's faces. I know I sound kind of like a hippie or a sap, but it's true. Like, when someone asks me to rev the car, gladly, you know, if it puts a smile on their face, gladly, who cares, right? And that's also the point of my channel, right? To put a smile on your faces as well. So if there's anything you want to see, anything you want me to talk about, feel free and just comment. You know, I'm good at responding to all the comments. Like, I want you guys to be as engaged as possible. Like, tell me what you guys want to see, tell me what you guys want to hear about, and I'll gladly do my best to accommodate those requests.
I'll be there to pick up my car in an hour.
In an hour?
Yeah,
you got it, over here.